Paddy, congratulations on your victory. Controversy this time around, nothing to discuss. So, I mean, I'm sure you still want to watch it back. But as you sit there now, I mean, how do you feel about your performance this evening?
It felt good. Every round dominantly. I thought the first round might have got a 10-8 on at least one scorecard, but yeah, I've just seen a little stat then. In his last 8 fights, only me and Michael Chandler have dropped him. You know what I mean? So take good things away from it. I blew me load a little bit at the end of the first, trying to finish him. So I was feeling it a little bit in the second and third, but as I say, I still got on top of him and ground and pounded him and dominated the fight. So I'm happy.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about this being kind of a no-win situation for you, right? I mean, coming into that, did it make it difficult for you this week, like mentally, or maybe to feel like what meant victory for you?
Yeah, of course. But obviously, a win's a win. You know what I mean? It goes without saying. But I mentioned it in other interviews. He lit a fire under me at the press conference. Like, going into the Jared Gordon fight, there was no animosity at all. I didn't really feel anything towards him, you know what I mean? So it didn't want to bite down on my gum shield and hurt him. But then when I was going into that Tony fight there, when he started talking shite last week, the other day, I wanted to come in and make a statement. So I felt like I did in the first. Obviously, the second and third wasn't as dominating, even though I did just console him for both of the rounds. But, you know, I'm gutted I didn't get the finish, but it's one of them.
You still did give him a lot of respect, though, even though he upset you. You know, you called him a legend. So I guess, were you maybe even surprised or impressed by, you know, what he did show you in there?
Surprised that he got out that first round, lad, yeah. You know what I mean? I hit him with some punches there, a lot of unanswered ones. And I thought that maybe the ref could have stepped in, but give Mark Smith his due. He's one of the best refs in the world. So, and Tony come back out in the second and third, raring to go. So, as I say, it could have been stopped, but it never. But I still won every round. And even though I'm a little bit disappointed to get the finish, I am happy with my performance at the same time.
Nice. Last thing for me, I mean, you're becoming a star here in the States, you know, big Vegas stages, but of course in Europe, it's an amazing scene over there. So what do you see next for yourself? I mean, there's a ton of opponents that could make sense, but are there locations that you would prefer, whether it be here or whether it be at home?
Well, I wanted to fight on UFC 300, you know what I mean? If it would have been announced for the first weekend of April, like the 6th of April, I may have fought on it, but the wife's due between the 12th and the 17th of April, so I'm not missing the birth of my first kids. That's not happening. So I can't do that on the 13th. I've heard there's a show in Manchester in July, rumours of it, so that could be me. It's only 30 minutes from my house.
Paddy, done it. I know that you're not really in the game of calling out opponents. They seem to be in the game of calling you out. That's no different tonight. Rafael dos Anjos called you out and said he could beat you without a training camp. Is that the sort of name you'd be interested in?
Yeah, you know what I mean? He's another legend, you know what I mean? Former champ, just like Tony. RDA is very good. Is he coming back down to lightweight, is he? He was fighting at welterweight, wasn't he?
I think he's fighting Gamrot next.
Is he? What the fuck's he mentioning me for, then? Stupid bastard. Focus on you've got to fight, you know what I mean? But yeah, everyone's going to mention me, aren't they? You know what I mean? And it's just because of, like, the little thing round my name and the fact I've got so many followers, you know what I mean? That's what it is. But as I say, I wouldn't disrespect RDA. He's former champ, another future legend of the sport, but he's another one who's getting a bit old now, and if he wants me to take him out, I will.
Everyone talks a lot about Tony and his position in the sport and what he should do next, but you're the guy who just went in there for 3 rounds with him. How did he feel? Did he feel like a guy who can't be in the UFC anymore? Or did he feel competitive at this stage?
No, I said this earlier, like, it's mad the way people are telling him to retire, you know what I mean? It's the person's decision who's fighting when they want to retire. No one will ever be able to tell me when to retire. It's my decision. Tony wants to keep getting in there and fighting, he can. I think if you put him in there with someone a little bit lower in the division, like a Marco Madsen or a Dracha Close or something like that, then he beats them.
Congrats, man.
Thank you.
Paddy, back here, down the middle. Paddy, you talked about it, obviously, everything surrounding your last fight, then obviously the injury, the layoff. Did you feel mentally, like, sitting up there right now, like you exercised those demons, you came back to Vegas, you got the dub, no controversy, just how are you feeling with it compared to everything you went through?
Yeah, of course, it's a bit of redemption, but this is this sport we live in, lad. You get judged on your last performance. There's probably still people talking shit about me now, saying I couldn't finish a washed-up Tony. You know what I mean? That's the game we play, lad. The MMA fan base is very toxic, but we get on with it.
it's been a minute, but do you still care one way or the other about fighting on the same card as Molly? Because obviously that's always a scene when the two of you are competing on the same night.
Yeah, it's always nice, you know what I mean, when we get to fight on the same card, because we get to do fight camps at the same time and prep and stuff. But it's one of them, you know what I mean? We can't always fight on the same card. She's fighting in Feb, I'll be here for it. But it's just one of them. Like, in the next year or so, we're going to have a couple of more fighters from next gen in the UFC as well. So we're never all going to be able to fight on the same card.
Thank you.
Paddy, right here. Sorry, Jose. The hair. I think a lot of people were surprised to see it tied tonight. Can you kind of explain that decision? And was it difficult to kind of get rid of the signature for a fight?
Yeah, you could say that. It's quite funny, though, because whenever I used to play, like, Fight Night or, like, the UFC game or anything like that, I'd always put cornrows on my character. But the reason I've done it was because I'm sick of getting hit with little punches and like left hooks and stuff like that. And people, oh, he's rocked. Like, nah, my hair just moved. I'm not rocked at all. So I think it was a little bit of a tactical one as well, because it also, my hair goes in my eyes, lad, and I've got to lift my chin up. And I think I've done a little bit of a better job keeping my chin down tonight with the cornrows. So I don't know, I might look like white boy Rick, but it's sound.
So they're here to stay.
Yeah, it's gonna stay now. Like, I'm gonna have to just keep it, because my hair doesn't get in my eyes, lad. When my hair gets in my eyes, it is frustrating, I'll be honest.
Did you have a chance to watch the main event with Leon and Colby?
Yeah.
What were your thoughts on what we just saw?
Dominated them, you know what I mean? Just, it was too easy.
Do you understand now, like, the fans now kind of turning on Colby because of what he said at the...
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, lad. You know what I mean? I said this the other day myself, he's a proper piece of shit. Like, it's crazy though, the crowd, they were all cheering him on Thursday, and then today after he loses, he gets booed. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, lad. Fight fans are fickle.
And talking about your fight, I remember when Israel Adesanya fought Anderson Silva, there were moments when he was fighting him, it was almost surreal. Like, he had seen these moves so many times that he could see the setup, and he's like, oh, I know what you're about to do now. Were there any moments like that, fighting Tony, that you saw these on TV for like a decade, and then he pulled them out on you?
Yeah, when he was trying to do stuff off his back, you know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I know what he's going for here. Apart from when he was like tight clinching me and putting his knee on my neck, that was a bit of a mad one. You know what I mean? I was thinking, what are you doing, Toe? What are you doing here, son? But yeah, it was, as I say, it was surreal to fight someone like Tony Ferguson, but you know, I've got people like RDA mentioning me already, lad, so it's not going to be long before I fight someone else with a name like that.
Was that really your first experience with a high-level 10th Planet practitioner? Because he was constantly pulling rubber guard on you.
Lad, I'm a second-degree black belt, lad. And it's funny because I said to Paul before the fight, I got my second-degree black belt in the hotel before the other week. I'm going to have to actually show me grappling a little bit here, aren't I? Because every one of my UFC fights have just come in to have a scrap. Like, I actually stuck to the game plan this time, and I'm happy with it.
Paddy, down to your right. Were you able to take the ones carry the boats or not?
No, lad, I was too tired. If I would have finished them in that first round, then yeah. But no, I was too tired at the end of the third there, I'm not going to lie. I did blow me load a little bit trying to finish him. I can't wait to watch the fight back and see how many punches I actually hit him with unanswered, because I reckon it was over 30, you know what I mean? But it's one of them. He survived. He's one of the toughest men out there, and hats off to him. He's an absolute legend. As I said before, no one should tell that man to retire. He can retire off his own back when he wants to.
So much has been made about your weight in between camps, but I know you said after the Gordon fight you stayed pretty disciplined. I think you only were like 182 or something like that. Is that sort of a mindset you're going forward?
Yeah, I don't ever want to hit 210 pounds again, put it that way. You know what I mean? After I beat Lever and Vargas, I went a bit wild in America. I think at one point I got on the scales in America, there was 211. You know what I mean? And this time I'm not going above 185, 190. My coaches are probably standing at the back there laughing, shaking their heads like, I bet you he does. But I'm gonna do my best, like, not to balloon up.
And I saw your ankle was swelled up. Is that the same one with Gordon, or is it a different one?
No, it's the same one with Gordon, but it's not my ankle. It's actually the front of my foot. You know what I mean? Where I've kicked him and he's checked it. It's I've just got like a little baseball on the front of my foot, but that's just a bruise. You know what I mean? It's not nothing to do with my surgery, so I'm happy.
And a score prediction for tomorrow?
9-0. The Manx aren't gonna like it. It's gonna be slappy time. Liverpool, top the league. Liverpool, top the league.
Paddy over here. Obviously, a lot of fan opinion has changed about you this past year, but do you almost kind of prefer that maybe having some fans kind of put you to the side and maybe even sleep on you?
Yeah, I said this to Paul earlier today. I was like, it's mad because I've never really experienced getting booed until the press conference the other day, and I enjoyed it. Know what I mean? It lit a fire under me. It got me going. I actually enjoyed getting booed. So doesn't matter, lad. You can love me, you can hate me, you can cheer me, you can boo me. You're gonna tune in to watch me fight. That's all that matters.
I'm sure a lot of it had to do with you going against Tony, as he's a fan favorite everywhere he goes. So do you think maybe next time out, if it's not a guy like Tony's level in terms of like fan magnitude, do you think you'll get the cheers you once had?
Yeah, of course. Know what I mean? Even though I was getting booed, lad, people still love the walkout. People still go bananas for the walkout. So, yeah, as I say, I've said it a few times now, but I'm happy. Like, ending the year on a win after starting the year and down in the dumps, very depressed. So, I'm happy.
Obviously, you just gave that wild 9-0 prediction. Where are you going to watch that game from?
There's actually a Liverpool supporters club here in Vegas, lad, and I've got the invite, so I think I'll be in there in the morning at 8:30, swinging my shirt around like, woo!
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Paddy. You know, you're known to talking trash, but is there a line when you're talking trash?
Yeah, you don't speak about people's dead relatives. Know what I mean? People have mentioned stuff that I've tweeted before, but I've never mentioned anyone getting killed, anyone dying. Know what I mean? In Liverpool, we use the term terrorise very loosely. And it's like, if someone skits you, oh, your ma's fat. It's like, oh, you've been... Know what I mean? We use the term terrorise very loosely. It's nothing to do with anything like that. Even though people love to put words in my mouth. But I'd never, ever, ever mention someone's dead relative. If someone mentioned anything about my nan or grandma, I'd kick them in the face. So I understand Leon throwing a bottle at him. Like, I wish Leon would have snapped his jaw then. So we had to get it wired shut for saying something like that.
And then finally, for me, what's the best film you've watched this year?
The best film I've watched this year? Probably Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was a very good film, lad. I was a bit disappointed in Killers of the Flower Moon. Quite disappointed. Scorsese's lost his touch, lad.
Down the middle, Paddy, right here. There was a lot of outside noise ahead of your kind of Jared Gordon fight. I'm just wondering, like, you came into this fight, there wasn't as much noise. Was that a decision that you made on purpose?
Yeah, the stuff outside of the cage leading into the Jared Gordon fight probably did affect me mentally going into it. It drained my energy a bit as well, to be honest. I didn't do a lot of other things, like last year when I come and I went to a Raiders game, I went to a hockey game, that depleted my energy a little bit as well, know what I mean? But this year I just focused on what I had to do and we got the job done.
Training camp begins now to be a dad, twins on the way. How are you feeling about that?
Can't wait, lad. Literally can't wait. I've always said we'll have twins as well, and it's happened, lad. I'm having identical girls. It's gonna be a harder camp than any fight camp, I reckon.
Last one for me. What's the post-fight meal look like?
I'm going to In-N-Out Burger for the 4x4 right about now. Know what I mean? I've got to go somewhere at the desk and then I'll be going and munching.
Thanks, Paddy. Congratulations.
You know that. Thank you very much. Have a nice night, people.
right, what's up, gang? Tonight, the gate was 9.3 million. Attendance was 19,039, sold out. The fight of the night was Aldana versus Rosa. The performance of the nights were Shamil, Lipsky, and Emmett. They all won $50,000. Congratulations to them. I guess before I get started, I'll announce some fights for you guys here. This Miami card is stacking up to be badass. Michael Venom Page versus Kevin Holland. Song Yadong versus Jan. Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della. And Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. Who's got the first question?
We're just going to drop Michael Venom Page in there? Like, it's a new matchup? I mean, what do you think about this?
These are the fights from Miami.
Very nice. I guess there's a match off the top. Bryce Mitchell, an update for him.
Yeah, he's been released. He's good. Sure he's not great, but he's good. Yeah, he's good. He's healthy. He passed all his tests, and he's okay.
Good.
He's been released from the hospital. And he was like halfway through the show. He was released.
Awesome.
So it wasn't like just now.
Main event, a little bit of a perplexing main event, I guess. What were your thoughts on that?
I guess my take on it is, and you guys can let me know what you think, but when you're 35 years old or any age in this sport, you're like, yeah, I'm going to wait. Waiting is never a good idea in this sport. This sport doesn't wait for anybody. And I think he looked slow tonight. He got out wrestled. Leon looked good. Leon looked fast. Looked like he had trouble dealing with his speed, and then getting out wrestled too. And not to mention the fact that Leon absolutely destroyed that leg too.
Yeah. So we talk about him waiting. I mean, I think the thought was along the way that you guys were kind of holding him out for a title shot. Were there other fights you wanted for Colby?
I don't ever have anybody wait in this business, man. This is not a business that waits for you. Yeah. Your windows are very short, and you never know once you start getting up into your mid-30s when you're going to show up and just not look like you anymore.
Yeah. Bilal Muhammad was the backup this week. I think you said he's next. It still seemed like the next fight for you.
I'm not even thinking about that right now.
And last thing I'll ask on the main event with Leon, do you have an idea, like, let's get him back to England now, or we like him here in the States now, or do you have an idea, a plan, like, where it makes sense for him to fight?
Obviously, it makes a lot of sense to have him fight in England. If you look at what the kid's done, he beat Usman twice and just beat Colby. Colby's the guy that I was saying if Usman didn't exist, he'd probably be the dominant champion in that weight class, and Leon beat them both. So, yeah.
Nice.
Much respect to him, and he looked incredible tonight.
Co-main event, Alexandre Pantoja looked very good.
Yep.
He's a tough opponent. I guess, what did you think about his performance?
Yeah, same. I mean, he looked great tonight. He looked great. Shavkat threw me off in the beginning when the way he was grappling instead of striking. Then he ends up submitting Wonder Boy, who's never been submitted. So Josh Emmett, holy shit. I mean, that punch was so loud and devastating, and and then the whole undercard. I mean, the undercard was incredible.
Yeah. The last thing I asked about flyweight, we got Brandon Moreno and Amir Albazi coming up. Do you kind of look at that as a #1 contender fight now?
What's the question?
Brandon Moreno and Amir Albazi.
Yeah.
Do you look at that as a #1 contender fight?
Probably.
And then last thing for me, it looked like there was a little skirmish in the crowd today between Strickland and Trickus du Plessis. I guess, what can you tell us about what happened and your thoughts on that?
So what kind of an asshole sits Strickland next to du Plessis? This asshole. That's who. Yeah.
I mean, you actually manually did the seating assignment for that?
I do every seating assignment every week. Yeah. Yep.
Do we know?
Fucking stupid is that? I mean, seriously. Well, I don't know what humans you can sit Strickland next to, but definitely not du Plessis. It was. I don't even know how I missed that, and yeah. So.
I guess everything's good. I mean, just shit happens,
Listen,
and we move forward.
This is the business we're in. I say it all the time. Jumped in there, told Strickland to relax, go in the back. He decided to leave, so he left the arena, and du Plessis is good. We were just literally talking to him right outside the door there. So, gentlemen, we are in the fight business, and ladies, we're in the fight business, and these are the things that happen.
Dan, right here.
Hi.
What do you do with Tony Ferguson moving forward? Because obviously he took a lot of damage in that first round, but then he tried to fight back, and I think that's what 6-7 losses in a row now.
I would love to see Tony retire.
And what do you go with Paddy Pimblett? Obviously, Tony's popular, but like I said, he's on that kind of that skid. Do you skyrocket him up?
Well, listen, when you talk about a skid, right, you look at the guys he fought, too. And that plays a factor into it. And how did he look right up until he lost? Tonight, Tony did not. Tony tonight looked like he should retire.
And similar question, Cody Garbrandt. Go with him. He wants to fight Davidson Figueiredo, possibly UFC 300. A lot of people saying it looks like the Cody that fought Dominic Cruz when he won the title.
Cody looked damn good tonight. Yeah, he looked good.
I do have to ask. I know you said that we're in the fight game and people say mean things, but did anything this week bother you at all?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It bothered everybody, I think. Listen, what I say is true. We're in the fight games. Lots of mean things are said, and one of the things that I really don't like is family. When you start going after family and whether it's the kids, the wife, the parents, the whatever, it's just such a nasty thing to do. But again, this is one of those sports where you say horrible things and then 24 hours later it goes down. You know what I mean? And that's why tonight you saw Leon's corners going crazy, and I went over and said, guys, listen, you won. You won in the most dominant possible way to win. You out-wrestled, you out-struck, you completely dominated tonight. If this turns into what it could possibly turn into, he's going to get fined. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You won the fight.
Last one for me. Do you have to, like, when Colby brings up, Leon's murdered father, do you have to pull him aside and say, like, hey, maybe don't say stuff like that? Because Leon tried to get after Colby at that press conference.
No, I don't ever tell anybody what to say. You know what we will say? Guys, when you go out on that stage, do not touch each other. Everybody thinks that I love when these type of things break it. No, I don't love it. And more importantly, the commission doesn't love it. And the commission is the government. So, no, we don't like this stuff, and we do everything in our power to make sure that it doesn't happen.
Dana down here. With Colby and his performance tonight, obviously the time away from the cage probably was a factor, but do you think there was pressure on him, like, involving Trump to the level he did, wanting the belt wrapped around by him, 35 years old, potentially last? Do you think maybe the pressure got to him a little bit?
Yeah, I think pressure gets to everybody. I'm sure Leon had a ton of pressure. I mean, he was just talking about what he said about his father, and, the last thing you want to do is now go out and lose to that guy. All these guys deal with pressure. But Colby's been in big fights before. This isn't Colby's first rodeo. He's been in big fights, and Colby just looks slow and old tonight, in my opinion.
Did Trump give his feedback on Colby's performance?
No, I think everybody felt the same way. I mean, he got out-wrestled by Leon tonight.
What did you make of that from Leon, just the fact he wanted to do that as a statement? It was kind of his way of getting back at Colby for the words, right? Were you admiring that, or do you think, hey, that's a risk against a guy who could out-scramble?
No, I would imagine that, if you look at Leon Edwards' last 3 fights, he's going up against 2 of the best wrestlers probably ever in the division, right? I mean, off the top of my head. And I'm sure he's been wrestling his ass off, and it really showed tonight.
With the Strickland-Duplessis thing, were you at least grateful that Sean asked the kids in between them to move out the way first?
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
And last one from me.
Could you step aside so I could assault this gentleman, please? Thank you, children. Yeah, no, not good. I was bummed out there were kids at the press conference that day. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Wild week. Last one from me. Just talk about MVP signing with the UFC. What you expect from him in that fight with Kevin Holland?
I think it's going to be great. I mean, that's why we made that first matchup. That's a fun fight between 2 guys who let it all go. It's a good one.
Hi, Dana, right here.
Yep.
I'm just curious, Aljamain Sterling tweeted that he had tickets tonight and that they got pulled. I'm wondering if you know anything about that.
Well, they were tickets that he was with a sponsor. I don't know how they got pulled or what happened, but the team reached right out to him, and he was like, yeah, never mind, I'm good, I'm going to leave.
Okay. Also, it's been a while since we've talked, but the Power Slap was approved in California. I'm just wondering if there's going to be an event maybe around UFC 298?
Yeah, so going into next year, you're going to see a lot of states open up in the first couple of months. We should have 5, 6, 7 states in early 24. And yes, we will start traveling around and doing events.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, right here, right in front of you. What were your thoughts on Shavkat Rakhmonov's performance tonight? Obviously, another dominant win against a tough guy.
Yeah, he looked good. I was a little shocked at the grappling, pushing against the fence. I didn't see that coming. But then he ended up getting the takedown and the submission. And, the first guy to submit him.
And on the opposite side of the equation, Wonder Boy, I'm just curious, like, where you think he goes from here. He's getting older in age, but he's still pretty competitive. He's had some wins recently.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's something he and his team are going to have to talk about. He's not in the same situation that I feel Tony Ferguson is in, so completely different.
Then one more thing about the Strickland incident. There were some police officers that were involved, kind of breaking it up. To your knowledge, was there any sort of legal issues?
No.
No.
No. I'm sure the police got better shit to do than, two guys who are going to fight here in a month getting into a, skirmish here at a fight.
And when it gets physical like that, would you ever consider fining? I'm not talking about the trash talk and stuff, but in terms of actually
No. It's my job to make sure that stuff doesn't happen. If I wasn't an asshole, those two wouldn't have been sitting next to each other. It blows my mind that I let that slip. It just blows my mind. Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Dana, right back here in the middle.
Mm-hmm. Hey.
Right back. Dana, Brittany Palmer's last UFC event. Obviously, there's a lot of ambassadors who don't fight that are part of the UFC family. Just what are your thoughts on her run in the UFC?
Yeah, her and Ariane both. So they've both done their last walk, I guess you would call it, and they've been awesome, and we love having them. Yeah, it's all good.
A lot of people, myself included, were surprised there wasn't a surprise announcement of the main event for UFC 300 at yesterday's big seasonal press conference. Are you planning to go big when you do announce that one?
Well, we're still working on Miami. Miami is becoming this ridiculous card right now, too. So as we head into the new year, we'll start getting 300 dialed in.
And then
we wanted some stuff to play out first.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then finally, just curious, was there any talk about trying to rebook Ian versus Vicente Luque, or did things just fall apart?
We offered Luque a bunch of fights. He turned them all down.
Thank you.
Yep.
Over here. Obviously, your newest matchmaker, Joe, he had a fight play out today between Cody Garvin and Brian Kelleher. I guess, how'd you have that fight? What'd you think of that fight, and what'd you think of Joe's first fight as a matchmaker?
Oh, okay, yeah, got it. You threw me off for a minute there. Yeah, great fight. Yeah, great fight.
And,
right until the end, it was an awesome fight.
And you just mentioned there Vicente Luque, you're supposed to fight Ian Gary, but obviously Kevin Holland, I'm sure you saw, he kind of threw his name into the hat as a potential replacement. Now that we know that he's fighting MVP, was there ever even a possibility of Kevin Holland stepping in to fight this weekend?
No.
And do you think we're going to see more seasonal press conferences?
Yeah, we've been doing them for a long time.
Oh, I was just asking because, it's like the first one in a long time.
Yeah, well, we went through COVID.
Yeah. Thank you, Dana.
Yep.
Dana down here too, right? Dana.
Yep.
Talking about the signing of MVP, you're throwing them straight into the deep end with Kevin Holland. Is that because of his age is kind of getting up there? He's 36, 37, I believe, or is that because of how highly you rate his skill set?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of things. I think it's his age and his experience, and it's the right fight to make.
And I know earlier this week you said that you are going to come back to the UK. Is that going to be 2 shows? Because it's looking like March is going to be unlikely at the O2 Arena, so it looks like at the earliest you'll probably come in the summer. Would a end of year show like maybe December or maybe even earlier?
I don't know yet. We haven't really got that far. We're coming into 24 right now, and we still have a lot of TBDs on the board, so we're still kind of figuring that out. But we're absolutely coming back to England, yes.
And final one for me, UFC 100 and UFC 200 had fights that still live in this memory, like today, obviously 14 and then 7 years ago. How big do you plan on making UFC 300, and do you think that you'll be able to top those 2 cards?
Well, think about tonight, the buzz and the energy around tonight's card. And look at the stuff that I'm telling you guys about Miami. So we got to beat, this, Miami, and a bunch of other great cards that are going to happen this year. So I don't remember who I was talking to, but the way I see UFC 300 is when it comes out, people are going to be going, holy shit, that's the first prelim of the night? That's what UFC 300 is going to be. Thank you.
Danish Gent, you're right. There's a popular streamer online called Neon. And he said he was banned from the arena tonight, specifically by...
He said he was banned from the arena? No, what happened is he said some stupid shit on Instagram, and, you know, he bought tickets so he wasn't anywhere close. When you start saying stupid shit like that, yeah, you're probably going to get busted up and thrown out of here, you know, making threats and talking dumb shit, looking for clout.
I believe he said he was going to...
I don't care what he said.
I think he said he was going to confront Donald Trump.
I don't care what he said. Did he?
Well, he wasn't able to.
He's this fucking tall, too. You know that? Fucking punk.
Thank you.
Yeah. Nice
Dana.
talking to you.
Dana, just
Yeah.
on the left here.
Yeah.
Islam Makhachev has spoken about potentially going up to face Leon. Is that a fight you're still interested in making? And did you get the chance to talk to him and get his thoughts on the fight?
What's the question?
Islam Makhachev has spoken about wanting to face Leon and moving up. Is that a fight you'd be interested in making him? And did you speak to him and get his thoughts on the fight?
Yeah, I had lunch with him a couple days ago. And we didn't really talk about fights. We talked about family and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't know. I'd like to see him stay at 55 and yeah.
And you just spoke of Neon, who's a content creator. You're a big supporter of content creators like the Nelk Boys, Nina, for example. How important are content creators for you in getting a younger eyes and a larger audience eyes on the sport?
Yeah, listen, my whole blueprint over the last year and a half has been all about that. So I'm very into it and have a lot of great relationships with a lot of these creators.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Dana in the back.
Yep.
In the back.
Dana, right here?
No, back here.
Oh.
Sorry
Hi.
about that. Hi there. So you made some announcements about fights for 2024. A few months back, you also talked about the Sphere and booking it for Mexican Independence Day weekend, making that the biggest combat sports event in history in that arena. Callum Walsh was here tonight. Is it possible that that would be a crossover event? Would you have MMA and boxing in an event, or are you booking Callum for something in Las Vegas?
Yeah, I would never do a crossover event. I would either do boxing or I would do MMA. And I don't know if I said it would be the biggest event ever, but it will be the best. That's what I said. It will, you know, creatively and what we're able to do inside the Sphere, it'll be the best we've seen, and definitely very unique. And then, no, I'm not planning on Callum. Callum will probably fight in Ireland next year.
And just to follow up on boxing, we saw you recently with Vinny Pazienza's belt. And today's Vinny's birthday. Did you talk to Vinny? Did you wish him happy birthday today?
Yes, I did. I wish him a happy birthday today, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dana, right here.
Go ahead, buddy.
Ian Gary versus Jeff Neal. Was that the plan for Ian Gary if you had got through Vicente Luque tonight?
No. We wanted to remake that fight, is what we wanted to do.
So I met a bunch of Irish fans outside the arena. They flew over to see Ian Gary. They were begging me to ask you about the Irish event when it might be happening. I'm wondering if you're feeling a little bit festive ahead of Christmas. And
Well, the Irish event I was talking about wasn't UFC. It was boxing.
Right. So the UFC is not going to come back in 2024?
Well, I didn't say that either. I don't know.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Dana.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm curious, you know, the conversations you've had with Colby, because you mentioned that, you know, waiting is a bad thing and the window is so small. And, you know, he was really good. You know, he was like right there with Usman, who was the pound for pound best in the world. And not only that, but he also sells. Like, you know, people want to see Colby fight. Did you give him the indication of like why he hasn't, you know, he's had these bouts of inactivity?
That's actually a good point. One of the things, you know, this gentleman over here, I think, asked me about or one of you two, about what's too much and when it comes to, you know, the trash talk. After that press conference or during, in the middle or whatever, pay-per-view shot up 25%. Literally, you can literally, and it wasn't like they were, like our analytical team was basing it off YouTube views. They were basing it off actual pre-buys while the press conference was going on and ended. 25%. Globally, too. Not just on ESPN. Globally, up 25%, which is fascinating. Absolutely fascinating.
So he was also leaving money on the table in a sense too. By not fighting more often, he was leaving money on the table.
Well, I mean, you see guys that want to wait. I mean, Chandler's waiting right now, and I mean, there's a whole laundry list of guys that I could say are waiting.
Colby wasn't waiting for Conor. Colby was waiting for something else.
Yeah. Well, no, he's waiting for a title shot. Yeah.
You've made your feelings pretty clear about PFL and Bellator, but I'm just curious about your opinion about the loss of another major promotion. Some managers have kind of expressed their concern on social media, like there's fewer fights for some of the fighters who are not in the UFC now.
You mean
Bellator?
Bellator going to PFL?
Yeah, Bellator kind of going away essentially.
Yeah.
Is that a bad thing for kind of the state of?
It is a bad thing, You guys ask me loaded questions, so that I will.
I'm asking around.
No. I'm not talking about you. Guys will ask me loaded questions to push me and to get me to say what I want to say. So what I will say, so you can get your fucking clickbait that you need and want. But yes, it's a bad thing. It's not a good thing for there to be less options, not only for fighters fighting, but guys who are coming up to have less options. So yes, it's definitely not a good thing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, Dana, back here. Back with Shavkat Rakhmonov. With his performance tonight, the fact that he's 18 fights, 18 finishes, exciting. Seems like the crowd loves him. Like he was the only foreigner that wasn't booed tonight. Is there a chance that he can leapfrog Bilal and get that title shot? I know timing's everything. You don't make fights, but is he in the conversation?
Yeah, I mean, the guy's undefeated, and everything you said is on point. Yeah, and right here, right now, I have no idea. We got to get back in the room and talk, and we're dark here for next few weeks, so we'll get a lot of shit done here through the holidays.
Do you happen to know Trump's reaction to Colby's performance?
Did what?
Do you happen to know Trump's
Well, I mean, like I said, I think he felt the way everybody felt. I mean, I don't know what you guys' opinion was, but mine was that he looked really slow. He had a hard time handling the speed. Could never really get off because of the speed, and even got out wrestled. So, he didn't voice anything. He waited till Colby spoke after the fight and wanted to hear his, his interview. But no, didn't really have much to say.
Colby was saying that if he had won, Trump would have wrapped the belt around him. Is that true?
No.
And then finally,
Do you think Secret Service is going to let him get up there in the middle of the octagon? And
I mean, I'm pretty,
definitely not.
I'm pretty gullible. 2023 is wrapped, and 2024 is coming. Is there a specific fight, specific fighter, specific moment of this year that that I guess you would remember from this year?
No. Is that like you ask me lots of questions about legacy and the past and the this and that. I don't ever really even think about the past. I'm always thinking about right here and tomorrow. I'm always looking forward. Maybe I should be a little more nostalgic and look around sometimes and think about stuff, but I don't. I'm always thinking about what's next.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I could kind of see your take on this question kind of already. Was there an event that you were just kind of stands out to you from being a part of this year, or is that the same answer for that one too?
It's funny, man. I feel like every one of our events are always awesome. I mean, every time we go to MSG, the last Miami show was incredible. But I love the Contender Series, man. I like we're sitting in the office, and literally everybody gets up to leave to go to the Contender Series, and I love those fights. I love that show, and I love the fights. That's like my highlight of the year are those fights. And I like what's at stake, and that it's live, and it's right here, right now. Who are you, and what do you got? It's just everything about the Contender Series I love.
For sure, yeah. Always put on great fights out there. And like you said earlier, you'd like to see Tony retire. In case he does go up to you and say, I want to continue, are you guys going to offer him another fight, or is that kind of like a let's sit down and talk about it?
Yeah, listen, Tony's been an absolute warrior and a dog in this sport, and, I don't want to disrespect him by publicly talking about him retiring, but I would love to see him retire. That's really where my head's at.
Dana?
Yep.
First of all, congrats for 2023 season.
Thank you, buddy.
In terms of money, like as a business, this season, 2023, was one of the best in the UFC history.
Yeah, so what continues to happen is, and when you think about COVID, right? When we came out of COVID, think about all the places that we still haven't been in years now that are still, you know, like when we roll into Toronto, Canada again, we haven't been there in years. I haven't been there in years, that's for sure. And Toronto's always a fun spot, always great fans up there, you know, the energy and the buzz up there, and I love the city of Toronto. So as we start to go into these other markets, let me give you an example. Ioli hits me up tonight, and he's like, hey, you know, what's the gate? What's it going to be and all this shit? And I told him, 9.3 million. He said, wow, I didn't realize the gate was that big and whatever. Where does that rank all time? Ranks number 15. So if you look at what's happened over the last couple of years coming out of COVID, you know, these gates continue to go like this. I think you're going to see that in 24 too, as we go into these new territories. Call them fresh territories that we haven't been in a while.
Awesome. Talking about territories that are not that fresh, like Brazil. In 2023, UFC went to Brazil twice.
Yep.
For 2024, how many events can we expect in Brazil?
I don't know that right off the top of my head either, but, you know, obviously, you know how I always talk about Mexico and England, and, you know, Brazil is a very important market, you know, not only loaded with tons of fans, but tons of talent. So we're always going to be going to Brazil.
Pantoja, Alexandre Pantoja, he was asking tonight that he told me he's going to ask you and the UFC to give him the chance to headline or maybe be the common event in Brazil. He wants to fight in Brazil. Do you see that happening? Do you think it's possible for the first semester in 2024?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Last two questions. Do you have any update about Charles Oliveira and Paulo Costa when they're fighting? Is there any negotiation with them both?
No.
Last but not least, Saudi Arabia. You were talking about that. It's going to happen, the first UFC event there, right?
Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
What's the question about it?
It's going to happen, the first UFC event over there, right?
Yeah.
So since it's the first, and can we expect like something huge, like maybe, even though it's a
You
fight
talking about the card? Will the card be great? Yes, going to put together a badass card for Saudi Arabia.
Even though it's not a pay-per-view, can we expect like a title shot headlining?
It's a great question. It's the first time we've ever been to Saudi Arabia. Obviously, those guys operate at a very high level, and we will bring a not typical fight night to Saudi Arabia.
Dana.
This has to be the best audio we've ever had in this press conference, in this tent.
Yeah, Elliot.
Well, there's some fucking machine. I can hear everybody here, and I can't hear anything ever. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Even you. Well, I understand you. This is unbelievable. Yes.
Dana, down here to your right.
Yeah.
You talked about new territories, and every time I speak, I always ask you about UFC Africa. I know that's something that you said that's going to be a bucket list thing for you.
Yeah, it's super important to me.
Can you provide any?
So here's the thing when we talk about UFC Africa, right? Dreykus, he's South African. So there's this whole thing about, well, if you go to South Africa, you're not really going to Africa. You know what I mean? But if the guy who ends up being the guy is from South Africa, then we would probably start in South Africa. And then you know that my long-term goal is to really plant some roots there, like we're doing in Mexico, like we did in China, like we're going to do in other spots too, and start pumping out young talent from that country.
And obviously you mentioned South Africa there. What other countries have you earmarked as potential locations?
Well, we've talked about Nigeria. You know what I mean? We've talked about, you know, what was the two? There was Nigeria, Rwanda were the two places that we're talking.
Dana.
So the three places: South Africa, Nigeria, and Rwanda.
Wonderboy walked out with Jack Black and Tenacious D Gang. Any chance more of the same from fighters if they propose the idea to you?
Yeah. Tony walked out tonight with. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I'm always cool with that, as long as nobody's singing or, you know, any of that shit. We're good. Yep.
Dana, just kind of curious, what are your goals looking like for 2024? You have a lot big plan. What are some of the goals that you hope to accomplish that you haven't mentioned yet?
You know, in 24, we're gonna be opening the PI in Mexico. We're gonna do a live event down in Mexico. I'm really gonna start grinding down there, and all the plans that I've had over the years. Then, like she was saying before, then is Mexican Independence Day at the Sphere. And as I get, I'm working on that thing now as I get more, I guess as I get my shit together, I will let you know more about how that thing's going, because I got all these plans for it, but I'm working on it right now. So Mexico is huge for us next year. Like I was saying earlier, Leon Edwards winning, you know, and beating Usman twice and beating Colby. You know, the UK is big. I also was saying the other day, I want to start hitting places like Manchester and, you know, other places in the UK other than just London again. And first fight in Saudi Arabia, like we were talking about, that's got to, you know, we got to deliver on that one. So we got some big things working that we have to. It's one thing to sit up here and yap about it. It's another thing to deliver. Talking about bringing a boxing match to Ireland. A lot of new stuff going on next year. Fun stuff. You done with me? Happy holidays, everybody. You and your family have a great one.
Congratulations on the victory. Obviously, a dominant performance. I just want to ask you about like coming in as the champion. You know, was the experience different mentally, physically, anything in your first title defense?
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I don't expect war like that, you know, again, you know, but that's the flyweight division, you know. All the guys so prepared for that moment, you know, and all my respect for Brandon Rival. I shake him a couple times, you know, especially in the first rounds. I kick him so hard in the ribs. I don't know how he's keep coming, you know. I have a very good kick, and I'm glad to can show you more my strike in that fight, you know. Of course, my grappling make me steal, but I can show more my striking game, you know. And I shake him a couple times with my right hand, and but that's it, you know. Brandon Rival coming with the prime time, and I respect all my. He deserves all my respect because he's still coming, you know. He don't give up any round, you know. I try to katagatame, I try to neither choke. I'm really close to finishing him, and I make a lot of power, a lot of stretching in that moment. I talk with my coach how he don't tap, you know, and that's it. Very respect for him, and that moment proved me what when I young and I watch a lot of movies like Van Damme, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sylvester Stallone, and my wish is I want to fight with the best fighter in the world. And now I'm here, you know, fight with the best fighters in the world.
That's incredible. He talked a lot about working on his jiu-jitsu, his pure jiu-jitsu coming into this. Did you find him to be a better fighter this time around than the first time?
You know, he improved a lot, you know. He involved so much, you know. And he learned with his last fight with me, you know. He lose for me, and he grew up so much. He go to another level, you know. And I'm very happy for him. And I'm going to make sure the next time I fight with him, I need to train a lot, to make a lot of work in the gym, you know, because he coming much better, you know. This kid deserves all my respect. This division deserves all my respect, you know. All good fighters. All the fights with flyweights try to make a bonus of the night, fight of the night performance. I'm very happy to represent this division.
Yeah. As champion, I mean, you don't have to call out anybody, right? They have to come to you. But are there fights that you want to have during your reign as champion? Are there names on the list that you want to compete against?
I want to call everybody, you know. I love this division. I love to watch these guys fighting, you know. Almir, Moreno, that's more close guys, I think so. And Manel Capi, I love to watch him fight too. Kai Kara France, spectacular performance, you know. All the guys, Mateus Nicolau is a very true guy too, you know. And what I mean, I love, you know, I love this opportunity to fight like that. And in my room, I can see the T-Mobile Arena and the same color in the Coliseo. And I love that. The last time I fight with Moreno, I watched Hawk, and this time I watched Gladiator. And I'm so excited to come to this arena and fight like a gladiator, you know, kill or die all the time. I'm so happy.
Nice. You mentioned Marina and Albazi. Are you looking at that as the #1 contender fight that the winner to?
I think so, you know, #1 with the #3, you know. Now it's time to fight with another personal, no, just me and Figueiredo. Of course, I'm going to watch that fight, very interesting fight. I want to see with a different guy. Almir can bring some different game for him. And but Moreno going to fight in Mexico, and that's a good point for him, you know. That guy all the time put the Mexico flag in the arms, and today I can put the Brazil flag in my arm.
Nice. Last thing for me, Dana was here earlier, and he said he likes the idea of you fighting in Brazil for your next fight. But is that what's most important to you? Because we don't know the schedule yet, right? So is that most important is to fight in Brazil, or will it kind of depend on when the event is happening and who's available and all that?
I fight in all the world, you know. I fight in South Korea, I fight in Abu Dhabi, I fight in Chile, Argentina, and Glasgow. I never fight for UFC in Brazil, you know. And that's my wish for Papadana, you know, for the Christmas, you know. I want to fight, I want to defend my belt in Rio de Janeiro. That's my town, you know. And I try to be a new idol for Brazil, you know. I say that all the week, you know. Brazil need a good idols, need a good heroes right now, you know. Some guy respect your opponent, some guys bring your family all the time, you know. This cultivate, I have my young son in my side. He helped me a lot, you know. I make a good work with like a parent, you know. Make a good work like a husband, a father, and I try to give this prescription for the world.
Alexandre, the front right. You were on stage during that press conference with Colby and Leon and everything, and you know you talk about being a family man and being a good husband and everything. I'm curious, what did you make of all what Colby said to Leon and what they were all saying back and forth to each other, bringing up family members and everything?
You know, I don't agree with everything Sean Strickland say, but this time I'm with him. You know, he talk a lot too. You know, I don't like when he talk about family division. You know, because that's the job for all the families. You know, he need that's a payment. You know, when you talking about some, imagine if you talk about your job. You know, that's so disrespectful. But I'm agree when he talk about this what did Colby say. I think a lot of fights say that's the more the bullshit, the trash talking ever. You know, I'm not really close about my father. You know, and I respect a lot Leon Eros. You know, everything he do for your family, for your country, everything he passed for that moment, and. I'm super happy Colby don't win today, you know. That's proved a lot for all these people, you know. And I think he need a new, like I say, he need a new heroes, you know. The world need a good people, you know. And the Victor de Leon proved that, you know, the world go to the right way.
So going off of that, as a champion, you might have to fight guys like Manel Kape and Muhammad Mahayev, who they do a lot of talking. I'm curious, do you look forward to that as a champion because it will bring more interest to your fights when you do eventually have to fight fighters like that?
You know, like I say, I love this division. You know, I love all the fights. Mokaev, I train with him in American Top Team. He's a very good guy, very technical, very talented guy. He keep learning. You know, Manel Kape, very tough opponent too. And I try to keep this belt, bro. I have a lot of work to do. Today I fight with a prime brand rival. I really expect I can finish this fight in the first or second round. He's still coming for me, you know. And I know I have a big nose. He can catch sometimes. But I really don't feel, you know, I don't feel the power, you know. I respect him a lot. I respect his heart. But like I say, I'm from Brazil, and I'm from a very small town, Arraial do Cabo. And my first master, Albert Reis, I go to him to train, you know, and I train big guys. And man, if you try to you punch me, you need to punch really hard for I feel, you know. And I'm ready to all division, you know. I'm back to my gym. My coach say 1 week off. And I go now back hungry.
And last one for me, how big of an event in Brazil would it be if someone like Alex Pereira headlines and you're the co-main event? How massive would that be in Brazil?
I think that this a perfect spot, you know. Pereira, two Alex Pereira, Alexandre Pantoja, and Shitara gonna take the belt in January, and you can put 3 belts on the line, you know, and still in Brazil. I wish you can do that.
Alex, your last 2 fights have been rematches. Do you hope for your next fight that you fight somebody fresh, or do you not mind fighting the same person over and over?
I fight with all division, you know. Like I say, I fight with Kai Kara-France in the Tough Show. I fight with Manel Kape. I fight with Matheus Chinal. A lot of names, Alex Paris, you know. And of course, maybe a new name is a good idea, you know. These guys know all my plan, know all my game plan. You know, you see Brandon Rival, how good him come today. He tried to take my belt, bro. And I see in his eyes, he's ready to that. and he's so much better with the last fight he did with me. But God gave him the bless. God gave me the right answers today, and the belt still in Brazil.
How nice is it to bring the belt back to American Top Team?
Let's go, man. American Top Team create a monster right here, you know, and I'm very happy to American Top Team get another trophy for the Gym of the World. He deserves all the belts, and I want to say in the public how much I'm saying thank you for Dan Lambert for everything he do it, you know, not just for me, but for all the people who go to American Top Team. 5 years ago, I go to America Top Team and I have any money and I'm like a nobody, you know. I make like 2 fights in the UFC and he take care about me a lot, you know. And now I'm the champion of the world. Now I can prove for my family, you know, provide for my family. He gave me opportunity to do all that, you know. And I just want to say in public, thank you so much, Don Lambert, for everything you do for us in the America Top Team.
Alex over here. I'm sure you were aware that you were up on the scorecards going into that last round, but it seemed like Brandon did have a glimpse of a second win during that round. What were your thoughts during that round?
You know, I need to watch the fight again, but I'm fighting for a long time, long time. My first fight when I have 17, now I have 33. Maybe I'm doing like 20 fights in Muay Thai, many more in MMA, and I can say I think I won all the rounds, you know. Of course, I want to finish all the time. I shake Breno Rival a couple of times too in the first and the second round. Grappling positions, you know, it's very hard. You keep this high level guy in the grappling, you know. It's hard to control somebody like a Breno Rival on the ground. Maybe people don't can understand. And sometimes I don't move a lot, but I control him. I try to drown him, you know, to get his energy, you know, because this guy have a lot. And this high-level sport, bro, all details you need to make count, you know. And I think I won all the rounds. In the 4th round, I'm really close to make a neither choke. I don't know how he can escape of that because I feel he's going to tap. But he keep coming. He deserves fight for the title, you know. And like I said before, he's ready to take my belt. But I make a very good work today, bro. And I think 50-45 is a good score.
Given how you said how tough he is there any part of you that was just kind of frustrated that he just wouldn't go away?
Sorry?
Given how you said how tough he was tonight, was there any part of you that was just frustrated that he wouldn't go away?
You know, it's not just about me, not just about one fighter, you know. Everybody need to respect this high-level game, you know, especially in this division, you know. These guys are crazy cardio. And the rival come from the mountains, you know, from Denver, Colorado. He's ready for this crazy piece all the time, you know. And, you know, I need to watch the fight again, but I'm very glad with my performance, you know. Control one guy like Breno Rival in all this game. Like, he coming for the 3 victories, 2 finishes in the first round. He beat Matheus Nicolau, very tough opponent. He finished Matheus Chanel, danger. Bro, how I can say, you know, all respect to Rival, I do my best today. Maybe if I go more pace, I can finish him, but he deserves my respect, you know.
Last one from you. Obviously, I saw you mentioned how special this arena is for you. I guess how cool was it for you being able to defend your title here in the very same venue where you won your title?
That's the new Coliseo, bro. I don't know if that's the idea to T-Mobile Arena the first time, but all the time I look this arena, the outside, that remind me of the Coliseo, you know. I try to go to make some Euro trip. That's my goal. Go to Coliseo, maybe take some sand about that. I'm the Gladiator, bro. The new Gladiator, you know. I love to fight, you know. All time you're gonna see me in the octagons for kill or die, you know. And I try to kill all the time. I try to do that today. Like say, Breno Rival is very tough opponent. Very respect for him. I know he come back. He's gonna come back much better. But Just very grateful to everything UFC gave to me.
Congratulations.
Alexandre, just one real fast. There's a great history of champions in Brazil. When you were coming up, was there a specific champion that you looked up to and you want to have a similar run as a champion?
Yeah, like you say, a very good champ from Brazil. You know Anderson Silva, you know Minotauro. And I think Brazil need to talk more about José Aldo too, you know. That's one of the best ever in this sport, you know. And I'm glad to train with José Aldo for a couple of times in União. And I learned a lot, not just José Aldo, but Renan Barão too, you know. Bro, I go to a lot of gyms, you know, and I can train with a lot of champions, you know. Today, after I come to arena, I see Lyoto Machida. All my respect to the Dragon, you know. And all these champions, you know, Brazil is a very good place, brother. And a place born in warriors, you know.
Alejandro, I spoke to Brandon earlier on in the week about the importance of the scrambling in this fight with you tonight. That was an area that you took advantage of in your first fight. Do you feel that he was much better in that position tonight when you faced off?
I think Breno Rival, maybe he tried to go to the grappling in the first time, you know. But no, he's keeping the fighting, try to the fighting strike and use his stance to catch me. But I feel I'm much more stronger in the ground, you know. And my coach Parrumpa say, if you can't finish the fight, win the rounds, you know. That's very important, you know. And that's what I try to do, you know, win all the rounds, win little by little. I'm very close. Like I say, he feel my hands a couple of times. I try to finish with the katagatame. I try to finish him with a needle choke. But people need to understand it's not just about me. You have a very good fight in the cross of the octagon, you know. And all my respect to Breno Rival. And I keep working, man. I keep learning. I keep climbing the mountain.
Talking about keeping the flyweight division fresh, I think it's 4 or 5 years tonight. This fight was a fight that didn't have Davison Figueiredo or Brandon Moreno in it. So, like looking at fresh opponents in the division, Mohamed Mohayev is facing Alex Perez with a win there. You know, it would be a fresh name on your resume as well. Would that be a fight you would be interested in?
Of course, like I say, I want to call the names, you know. I love my division. I love to watch these guys fighting. All the time you see some flyweight fight, you make sure you're gonna see a very entertainment fight, you know. All the times he make bonus, all the time he make a performance. Mokaev, very interesting fight. Alex Perez, very tough opponent. All my respect for him. Manuel Capi, Kaikara France, all good guys, you know. And all these guys, you know, who's the champion right now, you know, and how tough I am.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Happy holidays.
Go around.
Colby, obviously, I'm sure you're disappointed to not be sitting up there with a title belt, but after a little while now, how do you rate your own performance, and what was your feelings on the fight?
Yeah, I would rate my performance a 5 out of 10. I could sit here all day and make excuses. You know, I could have zigged when I should have zagged. I could have, you know, it was a timing thing because I was off. You know, but that's not the cloth. That's not the cloth that I was cut from. So I'm not going to make excuses. There's a reason the front window is bigger than the rear view. So, you know, it's in the past now. I'm not going to worry about the past. I'm going to focus on what's next. You know, there's a guy that's been talking a lot of shit to me in the media. You know, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. You know, everybody thinks he's a nice guy. He's had a lot to say about me. So I'd love to see him say that to me in the cage, in the octagon.
What exactly has he been saying about you?
Oh, he was just saying some stuff before the fight. Oh, he's going to get his jaw broke. Oh, this and that. You know, he's always talking shit, throwing shade. So I'd love to see him say it to my face. You know, he's always got things to say to you guys in the media. But I've never seen him come up to me face to face. You know, we were backstage at the press conference. He kept his head down the whole time. So he always has things to say. I'm a man of my word. You know, I say things to people when I look them right in the eye and I say, let's do it. You know, let's go in the octagon. So, you know, I'd love to see him, you know, sometime next year. And, you know, we've been at the top of the division for the longest. You know, we're two guys that have never fought that have been at the top of the division for years. So, you know, I think that's the fight that makes the most logical sense next.
I know you say you don't want to make excuses, but bear in mind the inactivity that you've had to have over the last couple of years. Would you like to get back in there as soon as possible and try and compete more regularly to maybe help with those timing issues you mentioned?
Of course, you know, I want to be an active fighter. You know, I want to be a company man. I want to be a guy that, you know, comes out here and puts on performances and shows for the UFC and makes them money as regularly as possible. You know, I don't want to be getting sucker punched in the street and take more damage in the streets than I ever took in the octagon. So, you know, I need to get my timing back, and I will. You know, I'll go back to work. I know what I need to work on, you know, and, you know, I held back a lot in that fight. So I don't even feel like I was in a fight. You know, it feels like I just was in fucking a practice round. So, you know, I'm a lot better than that, and you know, I'm still 35 years young, and my best is yet to come.
Did Leon do anything in there that surprised you? Did his wrestling surprise you? He managed to get you down a couple of times and vice versa, but did he surprise you at all?
No, he didn't surprise me at all. You know, I thought I had rounds 3, 4, and 5. Started out a little slow in the first 2 rounds, you know, but those rounds still felt like toss-up rounds. But, you know, he's the champion, so I know I had to go out there and take it from him. But, you know, I'm very grateful for bringing out Donald Trump tonight, the most famous person on the planet. You know, he's done so much for my career. You know, I'm thankful for the man he is, you know, and I'm thankful for what's to come. You know, I'm going to be on the campaign trail with him. I want to help him get reelected. You know, I want to make sure that there's no rigged elections here in America, and you know we need to stop these wars. You know, that's the biggest thing. Look at all the wars going on. He kept peace in the Middle East. There was no war that he led us into. So he kept our borders safe. He kept inflation down. You guys can all hate him, but look at what he did for all your guys' bank accounts. Like, your bank accounts were so much better under him. Gas was $2 a gallon. You go to the grocery store and it's, you know, 300% uprise with Biden in office. So, you know, Trump did so many great things for this country, and, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what his next move is and getting him elected in 2024.
Last one from me, and I feel like I know what your answer will be on this, but, you know, Leon mentioned in the cage how your comments at the press conference really sort of emotionally hurt him, and he struggled with that, and the death of his father still weighs on him heavy. Do you maybe regret those comments and think, actually, okay, that was one time I maybe did go a little bit too far?
Not at all. Why would I have sympathy for a sex trafficker, someone who's impacted and hurt a lot of people's lives? You know, the truth always stings the worst in the world. So, you know, no, I don't feel bad about that at all. Let's talk about all the victims that he left behind that are surviving of the trauma and the turmoil that he put these people's lives through. So I don't feel bad at all. Why would I feel bad for a criminal?
Colby, right here. You've kind of put yourself in a position where people want to see you fight whether there's a title on the line or not. You versus Jorge is one of those random non-title fights that headlined a pay-per-view, but that was like a heated rivalry that sold. Is Wonderboy a big enough name or a big enough dance partner that you two could headline a pay-per-view, or is that, do you view him as like, oh, this is a fight night headliner against him?
You know, I don't make those decisions. Those are way above my pay grade. That's up to Hunter Campbell, Dana White, Ari Emanuel. Whatever they see fit is best for the business. You know, I'm a company man. I want to do the biggest and best business in this company, but I do feel like that's a premier matchup in the welterweight division. We've been at the top of the division for years, and we've never crossed paths, and he's had a lot of things to say about me. Oh, Colby this, oh, Colby that. So, you know, I'd like to see him say those things to my face in that UFC octagon.
You also had a lot of things to say about Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland obviously said a lot of things about you at the press conference the following day. He was in attendance. I'm curious if, say, he doesn't come out on top against Dricus, is that a fight you would be entertained at all, just considering the history of words between you two?
Of course. You know, he's been running his mouth, and, you know, nothing he say makes sense. Oh, Colby goes to the cops. Bro, you called the cops just a couple weeks ago, dude, when there was someone at your front door. And then you pistol whipped them in the middle of the street. So I think he needs to worry about what he's got to get through with the justice system first before he even talks about fighting. That guy's a train wreck, dude. That guy's for sure going to do something stupid in the next couple of years, and we're all going to be talking in the media about this and that, about how bad decisions he makes. So, of course, I'd love to shut his mouth. You know, there's a reason he couldn't cut it at 170. This is the toughest division in the UFC. Everybody knows that. Most people on planet Earth walk around this weight. So, you know, if Sean wants to go, let's do it. You know, that's an easy fight for me.
Well, going off of what you said a little bit ago, did you hear that he had to be escorted out of the arena because he jumped at Dricus?
I did not hear that, but I'm not surprised. That guy does not make very good decisions, and you know he's a liability to the company. You know, it's sad what he's done. You know, I feel bad that the UFC has to deal with him as the champion. You just don't know what he's going to say next or what he's going to do, and whose lives he's going to put at harm and risk. So that's embarrassing, dude. Like, you're at a professional event, dude. You're going to fight the guy in a couple months. What are you doing, man? Like, you're going to get your opportunity to do whatever you want to him. But, you know, Dricus is class act, and, you know, I got a lot of respect for him. I hope he knocks Sean unconscious.
Colby, right here in front of you. Looking at your expression when the decision was read, you seemed a bit surprised. At that moment in time, did you think that you had done enough?
I did. You know, I thought the third, fourth, and fifth round were mine. The fifth was mine easily. The fourth I thought was mine as well, too. And, you know, I thought I did enough in the third. You know, he didn't put any damage on me. He got a couple low kicks, but then I started checking him at the end. So, you know, I thought I had the win. I thought I did enough. But, you know, the judges have never favored me. They hate me because I support Trump. And, you know, everybody hates Trump in this building. So, you know, it is what it is. Life goes on.
Did you talk to him at all after the fight?
No, I haven't had a chance to talk to him yet. I'll probably be able to talk to him after that, and you know, just thank him. You know, just thank him so much for coming out and making this a spectacle, and all the support he gives to me and shows me. You know, he gives me American Dragon energy every time I talk to him. He uplifts me and makes me want to be greater. So, you know, I thank Donald Trump so much for, you know, believing in a small kid from, you know, Springfield, Oregon, a nobody. You know, I came from a blue-collar family, and you know, I had nothing, and, you know, now I have a lot of things, and, you know, now I have the most famous person in the world on speed dial that I can call at any time and get advice from. So, you know, I just feel upset that I didn't stick to the game plan that he had told me, and, you know, but it is what it is. Like I said, life goes on. You know, I think I can come back from this stronger and face this adversity head on, and I'll see Leon again down the road.
And, you know, you did have the chance, it seemed like, in the cage afterwards to talk to or yell at back and forth with Leon's corner. I guess what were you guys saying to one another back and forth there?
You know, he was just saying headshot dead. I'm like, bro, you don't even have guns in the UK. What are you fucking talking about, dude? You fucking bow to a king, dude. I don't fucking bow to nobody. We have fucking constitutional rights in America. So the guy is just blah, 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 blah. You know, he's got nothing fucking to say, you know, like, just the guy's fucking fake news. Everything he says that comes out of his mouth is just a fucking joke. So, you know, I didn't really have anything to say to him. I was just kind of laughing and just saying, dude, what are you fucking talking about, dude? You're fucking nobody. You never fought in a cage. You never been in the UFC octagon. What have you accomplished in your life that makes you think you can talk about one of the all-time greats of the welterweight division?
Colby over here. What was that game plan Donald Trump had formulated for you?
Yeah, he said, let's get on him. Let's get on him early. Let's put that cardio on him. You can take this guy down at will, you know, and it just took me a little bit to get going, you know. My timing was not there early on, but, you know, Leon was switching a lot to orthodox. I didn't expect that as much as he was in orthodox, so it kind of switched up my game plan. So I was preparing to take him down on that right leg, and he kept putting the left leg in the lead, and I was kind of confused. So, you know, it was more just the timing issue, and, you know, I still thought I did enough, but, you know, God bless Donald Trump for fucking everything he's done for this country. He's the greatest American and the greatest president in history.
And I know you just showed your adamance towards fighting Wonderboy Thompson next, but there was another welterweight out that fought tonight, Shavkat Rakhmonov. If the UFC decided to go down that route, is that something you would welcome, fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov next?
It doesn't really make sense. I think, Wonderboy has a bigger name. It's a bigger fight for the division, bigger business for the UFC. I'm the company, man. Whatever the UFC wants. I fought the pound for pound #1 guy. That's the pound for pound #4 guy in the world. That's him, and I feel like I wasn't even in a fight with him. So, it just shows how good I am and what I'm capable of. So anybody the UFC wants to do, but I'm looking towards Wonderboy. He said some things, and I have my bad taste in my mouth about him right now. So I want to settle that beef in the octagon.
Fair enough. And Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera are headlining the Miami card in March. Dana just announced a couple fights for that card. Would you be welcome to being added to that card, given obviously it's in Miami?
Of course I'd love to fight in Miami. 305 is my home, man. 305 is giving me everything. I'm the king of Miami, so, I'm going to go back to the drawing board, see what Dana and Hunter and the UFC want to do, but, I'm a company man. I'll show up anytime, anywhere, anyone, so it's a possibility, but, I got to get back, see, make sure I'm healthy with my feet, and I'll talk to the UFC after that.
Thank you.
Colby, down here to your right. In the build-up to this fight, you said there wasn't anything that Leon Edwards had done during his reign that had impressed you. Is that changed now that you've shared the octagon with him?
No, nothing impressed me. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like I got in a fight. What did he do that separated himself from me? How did he show that he was like this level above me? He didn't show that tonight. He didn't knock me out. He didn't wobble me. He didn't fucking win every round decisively. It was a competitive fight. Could have went either way. It depends on what judges are sitting in the booth that night. We know how the judges are, so no, nothing impressed me. And the guy's boring, man. He's mumbling and drooling most of the time when he's talking. Like, the guy's not likable. He has no redeeming qualities. So, I feel bad that the UFC has to deal with him, in business and as their champion. It's a pathetic excuse of a champion.
And this is the third time you've come up short in the undisputed title fights. Which one hurts the most? Is it this one or maybe the first one to Kamaru?
Yeah, that's tough. They all hurt the same. They all sting, because I feel like I was right there and I had what it took to win. But I just, took my foot off the gas pedal and didn't put it down as hard and believe in myself like I know I'm capable of doing. So, I don't know. They all sting, they don't feel good, They're all fucking, they all suck. But, I got a great support system. I got my coaches, Daniel Valverde, Cesar Carnero, amazing coaches. I got my friends, Michael Wall, have done so much for me. Michael Lehman's done an incredible job for me. I got some great people in my corner. They're going to lift me back up and make sure that I come back from this stronger. And, this is just a lesson learned, another lesson in life, man. That's what life's all about, learning lessons and coming back better from them.
Thank you.
Colby here. You didn't try to take Leon down until round 3. Was that the original plan, or did you think you left it a little bit too late to implement that game plan?
He was switching a lot to orthodox, so I kind of got a little confused. I didn't want to rush in on the left side because that's his, dominant side. He's a southpaw. He was doing that intentionally. I feel like he was setting up like a knee or a kick on that side. So, yeah, I wasn't ready for him to be in the orthodox as much as he was. But, yeah, I didn't pull the trigger. Just no excuses, man. It is what it is. It's in my rear view now, and I'm going to come back from it better.
People talk about Colby the person and Colby the character. Is that even a thing in your eyes?
No, not at all. There is no character. I'm a guy that just turns it up to 11. I don't care what people think of me, man. You can hate me, you can love me, you can be indifferent. It makes no difference. I'm here to do the biggest and best business for this company. I love this company. I just signed a new contract with him, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. I'm going to be around for many years to come. So, the best is yet to come for me. I truly believe that, and I'm going to create a lot more special moments in this company, and I'm going to keep making history. That's what I've done since the beginning, and my legacy is not set yet.
Last one for me. Are you going to try to dispute the decision tonight like Donald Trump tried to dispute the election in 2020?
I mean, the 2020 election was clearly rigged. Look at all the voter fraud, all the mail-in voting, this fake fucking COVID. You guys are all doing triple vaccines. You got Travis Kelce out there, Mr. Pfizer, saying, "Oh, get 2 vaccines at the same time." You get 2. Okay, I'm not. Even if you're pro-vaccine or not pro-vaccine, If you're getting 2 vaccines at the same time, then you're not going to know which one's going to give you the ill effect. Like, how are you going to know? So, you know, it's a complete scam what's going on in this country. The fact that you guys aren't smart enough to realize that, and that the government and the establishment is treating you all like puppets, it's embarrassing, man. So obviously that was a rigged election. There's so much fucking voter fraud, mail-in ballot fraud, and, you know, tonight was another case of that, just some bad judges.
Colby, just down to your right. I know it might not matter right now, but in your pre-fight face-off with Leon on Friday evening, a lot of people were wondering whether you said I was in character or thought it was a character. Can you just sort of clear up what it was?
Yeah, I never said that. I said, no, I said, you thought I was a character. No, I'm not a character, man. I say whatever I want, whenever I want. That's what bosses do, you know? So I just let him know. I thought, because he kept saying, in the lead up, everything's a character that Colby played. I said, yeah, it was a character? Yeah, tell me now it's a character. I don't play a character, man. I'm just myself. I don't give a fuck what people think of me. Why would I care what you guys think about me? All my haters in the world are not doing better than me. I'm up here headlining events, fucking selling pay-per-views, fucking getting the most famous person on planet Earth to come support me. So why would I give a fuck about what any of you say or think of me?
And a lot's been made about you don't really cut much weight to make 170. Any chance of a move down in weight class, or are you not really thinking about that in a minute?
You know, I don't want to be a weight bully. You know, that's everything I stand against. You know, I'm trying to be the new generation of fighter that just fights at his natural weight. You know, I don't want to cut weight. You know, I just want to feel good when I fight and you know, not have to get that big advantage. I feel like cutting that type of weight is legal cheating. So I don't want to be a cheater. I've never been a cheater, never done a steroid, never cheat when I'm in the octagon. I fight fairly and I do everything by the book. So, you know, it's not something I'm interested in. You know, I want to fight everybody at my weight, at 170, and prove I'm the best in the world and come back stronger from this. If DC could be fighting and winning world titles at 41, there's no reason I can. That's still 6 years away from me. So, yeah, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. It doesn't matter how much you guys hate me.
Colby, I've got to ask, you talked about the haters that you have, but you got cheered, you got a big pop when you came out, but towards the end of the night after the decision, you got booed. Do you feel like you let your fans down tonight?
No, I don't feel like I did. I feel like, you know, I came and put on a show for them, you know, all week. You know, I entertained them in and outside the octagon. That's what it's all about, giving them their money's worth. You know, they pay their hard-earned dollars to come to these events, and they want to be entertained. They want to be distracted from whatever is going on inside their life. So, you know, I feel like, you know, it's upsetting that I didn't bring them the title that they know that we're capable of, but you know, we dust ourselves up, we get back up, and we come back stronger from it. And still have a great support system, you know, great sponsors. You know, shout out to Real My Bookie, the best, the king of sports books. Shout out to Happy Dad. They've done so much for me. Kyle Forgard has helped me train and get my conditioning to another level. So we're just going to go back to the drawing board, keep training, and come back stronger from this.
Colby, right down the middle. In your opinion, who has the best shot at beating Leon, Shavkat or Bilal?
Probably shit rat, you know, just because we saw the first fight with Bailey, the racist, you know, and who wants to put a racist in a main event pay-per-view title fight? I mean, they already made that fight before and nobody watched it, and that was during COVID when nobody had anything else to do. So how are you going to sell that as a pay-per-view? That's not a pay-per-view worthy main event. Put shit rat up there. Let's see if he's as good as all the hype says, and you know, let's see how that goes. You know, I think that's a fight for the fans, and I think that's the direction the UFC should go.
Leon, congratulations on your victory tonight. I know you said you would have liked to get a finish, but given everything that was surrounding this fight and all the emotions, I mean, how satisfied are you with the result tonight?
I don't know if it was one of my best performances, you know, but I thought it'd be a way more active fight. He just went on his back foot straight away, and I thought, what's this guy doing? You know, after talking all that shit that he did this week, I thought he'd come out and do more, you know, but I feel like he's done it before. He gets to fight up and just show up and just don't show up, you know.
The game plan that he used was pretty surprising, whatever it may actually have been. I mean, did you think early on, is he trying to bait me into something? Like, is this some kind of game? Like, what's going on here? Or when did you realize that this is just going to be what he does?
Yeah, 100%. Because I came out orthodox for the first round, you know, and I was waiting for him to charge forward like he normally does, and but I feel like the pressure got to him. I feel like the switching of stances, my range, it all just threw him off. You know, just kind of went in like a little shell. It didn't come out of it. You know.
Yeah. How challenging was it for you as well to stay controlled, right? Because you talked about being controlled with the emotions of fight week, but then you got to go in there for 25 minutes and be controlled. Like, how challenging was it there to keep the proper mindset?
It was hard. You know, like even to the weigh-ins yesterday, I was like fuming and shaking, and but I was after speaking to my mom and my coaches, and just like fuck this guy basically, and just focus on yourself. This is what he wants. He wants you to come out there and fight emotional and like try swing and take it down, you know. So I thought, okay, this is like, also what he said is fucked up, but let's switch it all off and go out there and do your job, you know.
Yeah. The grappling exchanges, a lot of your takedowns seem to come right after his. Did you come into this fight saying, I want to show that I can grapple, or was it kind of responsive to be like, now I got to take him down?
No, it was definitely a plan, you know. I'm a great grappler. I just like striking, you know. But I think I took Usman down, never taken down before in his career. Took Colby down, out grappled him. So I feel like as I'm learning and growing, I was keep showing more and more of my skill set. I've always said I'm a mixed martial artist. I'm not a striker, you know. And tonight I was able to do that. I out-grappled two of the best grapplers in the division, you know. And yeah, I'll keep reigning and keep improving, you know.
There's been a lot of talk about the exchanges between you guys. I mean, obviously, it is the fight game and people fight, but do you feel like there should be some kind of a limit, like an honor among athletes of like, hey, man, there's certain things that are just off limits that we don't touch with each other?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like kids are out of it. I feel like a murdered parent should definitely be out of it. It's just like, I don't get how I use that as a way to sell fight or entertainment, you know, and I think that's like put him in the show. I think my reaction to it kind of like threw him off a bit. I felt no one weren't feeling what you're saying, you know, like the fans turn against him and the media is like, what are you doing? I feel like, but he's a coward and he's always been a coward, you know. Even he lost the fight, he keep making excuses that I won the fight. Even Usman knocked him out and broke his jaw. He's like, yeah, it was Mark's fault. It's always someone else's fault when he loses, you know.
Yeah. As champion, there's always going to be a target on your back, but does there feel like a weight off because of the emotion that was surrounding this fight?
Yeah, 100%, definitely. I feel like it was definitely one of the most emotional fights I had to deal with. For like the comments that he made. But like I said, I got a great support system around me, and the defo got me in the right space to go out there and compete as an athlete. You know, because in my mind and my body, I wanted to go out there and have a war with him. And but when I talked to my coaches and my mom and everyone, just said, okay, like just shut it all off. 25 minutes, and after that you can deal with your emotions after, you know. And I was able to do that.
Dana was here earlier. It kind of seemed like Bilal Muhammad would be next, being that he's the backup and all that. But Dana said, I'm not ready to make that decision right now.
Yeah.
Do you see it as like he should be next? Does that feel like an unfinished chapter, or do you feel like maybe there's other options?
Nah, there definitely other options, you know. I don't feel like Bilal should be next. You know, I've done it before. I've run like 10 fights in a row, didn't get a title shot. So what makes him different or more privileged, you know? So Colby's already skipped the line already. So let's see who's next. And but like I said, I am. This is Rocky's era. This is my era now, and I always keep reigning. Whoever's next, doesn't matter. You know, they're all similar styles anyway. All boxers, wrestlers, and this is what I'll build my career on it. You know, so whoever comes next is it's whatever, you know.
Nice. Last thing for me, we'll figure out who, but where does that matter to you? Do you want to fight back in England, or do you like fighting here in the States, Vegas?
I love to fight in England, especially now we got Tom. You know, like have me and Tom on the card, headlining, co-headlining. That would be for the UK. That'd be massive. You know, I feel like that's definitely something that we should push towards to just bring more light to MMA in Europe. You know, I feel like having me and Tom headline card, either Manchester or any big stadium. I think that's what we should definitely push towards. You know.
Leon, right here in the front. Kind of going off of that, Dana was here and announced the official signing of Michael Venom Page to the UFC. He's going to be fighting Kevin Holland in Miami. So would that be a fight down the road that, you know, that could headline a massive stadium, a big arena in the UK?
I don't know. He just got to the UFC. I don't think he's nowhere near a title shot. Yeah, I don't know. That's like, I don't know. I think there's way more people that so more close to the title shot than Page, you know, and but yeah, fair play.
Did you see happen to people want to see you fight at some point?
Yeah, I did. It looked alright, you know. I think Wonder Boy is kind of getting past it a little bit. He's like 40 years old, and obviously he went out there and did what he did. But yeah, if whoever's next, I don't care, you know. So like I said, this is my era. My aim now is to beat George record. That is my aim, you know. And so whatever get me there is whoever's next, you know.
And do you first, because before this fight, you said that if you beat Colby, you could foresee him retiring because you don't really see him fighting these young guys. But he was in here saying he's going to be here for a while and he wants to work his way back to the title. Do you think eventually you will see Colby again down the road?
No, definitely not. I don't believe so. I don't believe so. Like, this guy says a lot of shit, you know. So this is his third shot at a title shot. This one was a given. He meant to fight for the title. He beat Macedo and then got a title shot. Sat out for 2 years and got a title shot, you know. So he's a long way away from fighting for the title. I can't see him going out there and fighting Shavkats and these guys of the world, you know. I just can't see it happening. So let's see.
He just a few minutes ago, he was here. He called out Wonder Boy for his next fight. He said he has unfinished business with him. What do you think of that fight possibly down the road between Colby and Wonder Boy?
I don't know. I don't care. You know, I don't know.
Leon, I gotta ask you: were you surprised at how much stronger you were than him in the cage?
Nah, definitely not. I always said, like, once you feel my physicality in the cage, it's a big difference, you know. As well. And maybe I got like a skinny waist. Everyone thinks I'm like not strong, but once I get a hold of you, you know, and I was able to take him down, out-grapple him in scenarios, and yeah, just keep, like I said, I'm a mixed martial artist, I'm not a striker, so it was good to show another level of my game, you know.
And how close did you think you were with those submissions? Close.
Especially that front one where I got around his neck before he spun out of it. That was tight, you know, and even the triangle, the arm bars I was attacking. A few of them was close, but it did well to survive and defend them, you know.
And did it feel good because he comes in, he's talking all the trash talk, but towards the end of the fight, people were booing him because they were just so unimpressed by his performance? Does that feel good to really shut him and the fans up?
Not really the fans, but more him, you know. I expected more. Like, after talking all that, like what you talk, you should come forward and fight. You know, you don't be a coward and go on your back foot for the first 2 rounds. I thought he was like trying to bait me, you know, something. I was like, what's this guy doing? But I think my range and my switching the stances was kind of throwing him off. But yeah, I think just a coward, and he showed in his fighting skills, you know.
Thank you.
Kind of similar to what you just said. Were you surprised that Colby didn't shoot until the 3rd round?
But even when he shot in the 3rd round, it's like a slow-ass single leg. You know, I was like, bro, what the hell's going on? Like, this guy's meant to be the cardio chaos machine. And but yeah, I feel like I said, it's a new era. I feel like these guys coming up like me, coming up, they're all just different era. You know, these guys, everyone's beat is like the Mastodons of the world, Robbie Lawlers of the world, Woodleys of the world. Like, these guys are like what was over the hill when they fought them, you know. And I believe he's over the hill as well. So
when he successfully landed that takedown, the first one he did, and when you got up pretty quickly, do you think that was like a demoralizing factor that played into the fight for him?
Yeah, definitely. I think like my out grappling him, like I was able to re-attack after he took me down and take him down, and I think that my coach said it's in his face. Is like he's kind of like threw him off a little bit, you know. And so I feel, yeah, definitely. Me grappling heavy I think that definitely threw him off a little bit, you know. He thought he'd be able to like dominate me more in the grappling, and he wasn't able to, you know.
And obviously, when you look at Colby's past fights, he did face a lot of grapplers and stuff. But I feel like some people might have not mentioned that he hasn't faced a complete guy like yourself in a while, other than like Usman and stuff. Do you think that's something that kind of went under the radar going into this fight?
Yeah, 100%. Because everyone has me down as a striker, but I keep saying like I'm a mixed martial artist, you know, and I'm good everywhere the fight goes, you know. And these guys, I've fought these guys my whole career, boxing, wrestling kind of style. They're all like from now to my next 3 fights, they're all similar. Bill Howes will be exactly the same. Wrestling, boxing, they're all Usman, Colby, they're all the same. You know, I feel like we need some new challenges and new different styles to bring more out of me, you know.
And last one for me. I know these guys aren't in your division, but there was a little scuffle inside the crowd between Sean Strickland and Dricus du Plessis. I mean, did you get to hear about any of that?
I did, yeah. I saw the video. Fair play, you know. Like if Dricus talk shit, you should be able to back it up. And like I said, Sean about it, and he did, you know. So fair play to him.
Leon, down here to your right. You talked about George St. Pierre's record there, 9 times defenses.
Yeah.
This is your second. Do you believe that you have the skill set to surpass that record and become the greatest?
100%, 100%. Like, why not? You know, like, no one thought I'd be able to be world champion. You know what I mean? No one thought I'd be able to defend it. No one thought I'd be able to do what I'm doing, you know. But I got a solid team behind me. I got a solid belief in myself. And even though I got a lot of respect for George, but I truly believe I can beat that. You know, George messaged me last night, obviously because of the press conference of what happened, and just I was giving him advice and how to, like, I was to channel my energy into a positive light, and so I got a lot of respect for him, you know. But I was still a young guy that's trying to chase to beat the. I consider him the GOAT, you know. So I want to surpass him, and I definitely got the skills to do that, you know.
And it seemed that you're pretty fluid when it comes to a timeline for a return. UFC 300, April 13th. Would that be an amazing opportunity for you? Or?
Yeah, why not? Why not? But like I said, I want to go home first. If we can get back to like get me a time on the card, that would be my #1 choice to fight in the UK again. But if that's an option, 300, then why not?
And talking about Sean Strickland, I don't know if you saw him leap to your defense and defend you about what.
Yeah. I seen it. But I was like, before the fight, I was like calling like middleweight straight like fights, and what he said was true. You know, like, so I might message him after this and say, you know, like, fair play to what he said, you know. And even though he acts like a mad guy, but clearly he's got heart. You know, he's a man, and Kobe ain't a man. You know, and so yeah, fair play to him.
And I asked you this before the fight, and I don't know if this has changed since you've shared the octagon with him. Do you think that this adds anything to your legacy, or?
It's just another guy in the way. I said it before the fight. You know, he's just another opponent on my quest to be the best of all time. You know, and I didn't take it personal until we said what he said. You know, and then it changed it a lot for me as far as like how to approach the fight. It took a lot for me to like just like switch it all off, and even like yesterday at the weigh-ins, I was still fuming, you know, and but I had to like switch it all off and go out there and compete, you know.
Colby, one here. When Colby is in here, and he sort of doubled down in his comments about your late dad, just saying, "Why would I feel bad for him?" Is that something you expect from him after the fight, just because he's sort of always in character?
I don't know how to answer that, bro. To be honest with you, here's what it is.
Hey, Leon, you were feinting the knee quite a bit. Do you think that made him think twice about wanting to shoot on you?
Yeah, for sure. Especially I was throwing like teeps to his stomach, and yeah, I feel like the fake in the knee, but because he shoots always to the right side, to the first hip. So I feel my coach kept saying like, keep teeps going and keep feinting it, you know. And I think especially my stance as well was kind of thrown off his range, so he couldn't get into like a rhythm that way he normally does, you know. And I could see him coming from a mile away. He threw the same slow uppercut, the same hook cross. He did the same thing for the whole fight. It didn't come out his rhythm. He didn't do nothing different from what he done for the last 5 fights. You know, I feel like that shows that this is a guy that makes excuses for himself. You know, like he blames everyone around him for his losses. Even Kamaru broke his jaw. He's like, "Oh, Mark, stop the fight." Just blaming Mark for shit. I was like, bro, like, maybe go back, improve yourself, like work on areas that you could improve and come forward, you know. But it is what it is.
You won a lot of awards this week at the Worlds. I guess how does that feel? You know, Fighter of the Year, Knockout of the Year, Upset of the Year. Like, how does that make you feel?
Now it feels good, man. It's been like 2 years in pandemic. Remember when it took me out the rankings and all that shit I went through. So now I'm here, sitting on top, laughing at everyone, and got my bout, second title defense, winning awards. It feels good. It feels it's a credit to me. It's a credit to my team for the work we've put in, the belief that we've got in ourselves and no one else did, and I'm just proud of myself, you know.
Which win feels better to you, beating Kamaru or beating Colby?
Probably being Kamaru because he was the meant to be the GOAT, you know, and to head kick him and to get the belt off him, I think that defo, no, nothing tops that, you know. And obviously Colby's a dick, so that was also a great win. But for us, like achieving a goal, a lifetime goal, being Kamaru was the win, you know.
And finally, for me, if you had your way, you know, there are a few people out there who do you want to fight next? I know you don't really like to call people out.
Yeah, but I'm the champ. I need to call none of them out, you know. So I'll sit back. I'll speak to the UFC, speak to my team. We'll make a decision. I like to be active, though, you know. I won 4 twice this year. I like to fight 3-4 times this year. So I'll speak to my team and let's figure it out.
Thank you.
Thank you.